What's up, everyone? I'm back at y'all with another video. Now for this one, I'm continuing my Sylvester Stallone marathon reviews, and for this one, of course, I'm reviewing Escape Plan: The Extractors, the third Escape Plan film. Now, I enjoyed this film, but I don't think it's my favorite out of the Escape Plan movies because I do enjoy the first two a lot. This one, I do enjoy it though. This movie does have some great action. Now, first off, we're going to talk about the positives, and then we'll get to the negatives. Now, the positives are all the fight scenes in this movie were top-notch fight scenes. All of them. Like, you know, the new characters they also introduced in this movie as well. Like, these newer characters. And these newer characters whooped ass. You had a lot of these martial arts. Just like the second one, there's a lot of different new characters that knew a lot of martial arts. And this one, these other new characters knew a lot of martial arts. And it was great. And then Sylvester Stallone was great in this film. He's a great actor as always. And there's another good scene where it's emotional. It's sometimes hard to watch when the bad guy sliced that girl's throat in front of Stallone on camera. That was Stallone's girlfriend that he slit her throat right in front of him on camera. And that was an emotional moment, so that's a good scene. And then another good scene is all the fight scenes are great. All of them are. And one of the best fight scenes in this movie was the ending scene of when Stallone went against that dude. And then the story basically is about this guy wants revenge of course, he wants revenge for Stallone and the rest of his team, kind of, because, letting his father sink at the bottom of the ship or something from the first movie. So yeah, the bad guy wants revenge. So that's basically what the plot is about. And it's a decent plot, but you know, we'll get to the negatives in a second. But this movie does have some awesome fight scenes, especially the end of fight scene, where the end of fight scene in this movie was one of the most realistic fights I've seen on screen. Because Stallone's bigger than this dude, right? You could tell that Stallone will beat the shit out of him, and then he definitely does that. Stallone lets that dude hit him a few times, and then Stallone's like, hit me for your father, and he's like, pow, pow. Like, you know, Stallone just let him hit him in the face, and then Stallone just beats the shit out of him. I'm talking beats the fuck out of him at the end fight scene, that final fight scene. That fight scene was freaking intense as hell. That fight scene was freaking brutal. I love that fight scene. And then Stallone takes a knife, you know, grabs that dude by the throat, grabs the knife, and then slices his throat. Slices that dude's throat. So this film does have some awesome fights. The story ain't that great because we've probably already seen a story like this played out in other movies. But, you know, they have some awesome scenes in this movie. They have some awesome, badass action scenes throughout this movie. Now, let's get to the negatives. Alright, so there's probably quite a few negatives. The biggest problem about this movie is the pacing of it. Sometimes it felt like, sometimes it felt a little slow, like a slow-paced movie. The first two wasn't that slow-paced. The first two, in my opinion, was like faster-paced. Towards the middle of this movie, it started feeling like, you know, a slower-paced movie. And, so yeah, and this one felt the most low budgeted out of the first two. You know, this one felt more budgeted. I mean, more low budget than the first two movies. That's another negative. And, so yeah, but if this movie wasn't that boring, you know, because there's a lot of boring scenes in this movie. If the movie wasn't that as boring at times, it would probably go up. But there are some entertaining qualities. Not the whole movie ain't boring. I started getting entertained from the beginning, and then it started getting really boring towards the middle of the movie, and then it caught back up towards the end. And yes, a lot of good movies have boring scenes in them. But this movie should have been fast-paced. You know, because the first two was fast-paced. This one should have been fast-paced too. But yeah, the first few minutes were great. You know, and then it started getting slow. And then, of course, you had action scenes after the slow parts throughout. And then, of course, the ending wasn't boring no more at the end. So yeah, this film could have been better. It could have been better than it was, but I enjoyed this film. It's not horrible. I can still watch it again. You know, I can still watch this movie again and enjoy it. But it ain't an amazing movie, you know. They could have done better. And would I want to see another Escape Plan movie? Probably not, because Stallone kind of does too much sequels in movies. He kind of does too much sequels. And so I don't think they should make another Escape Plan movie, because apparently Stallone's working on Demolition Man 2, and he's working on The Expendables 4, so we don't need an Escape Plan 4. You know, because The Expendables make more money, way more money than the Escape Plan franchise does. Escape Plan franchise don't make that much money. The first one went to theaters. The last two didn't go to theaters. See, they didn't make too much money from the Escape Plan movies, but they're pretty damn entertaining. They're pretty damn good at films. So yeah, the Escape Plan, The Extractors. If I had to rate this movie, what would I give this movie? How would I rate it? I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. I would give this movie a 7 out of 10 because the fight scenes in this movie were top notch. The fight scenes were incredible. I love the fight scenes in this movie, but there are quite a few soap operas, so that's what brings it down a little bit. But I love the fight scenes in this movie, and the soundtrack was pretty good too. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Escape Plan, The Extractors. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If y'all enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe and share, and also hit the bell so you know when a new video is uploaded. Peace out. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm out. Peace.